Yeah. What's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. 13th, right? May. Let's go. Everybody's doing all right. We are spreadsheet set up for a big day of baseball. A lot of games. I think we got like a 10-game main, 4-game early. And risk phone call. Get off of that. Like I opened up the night slate. Nice little light slate though. We get the early slate tabbed up. They got 4-game early. Dude, they hide the early tab on DraftKings. Hope you guys had a solid Monday night. It was a crazy backloaded night. Like a lot of action on the night slate. A lot of high-owned pitching on the night slate too. Tyler Mahle and Michael King, they kind of got there for what it was worth. Those are my two highest owned. Yankee game got crazy. Angels got crazy. The early slate, the Tigers went crazy. The crazy day. Run prop lines. We are about to go game by game here. And get our MLB grind projections all set up for today's baseball venture. Baseball Savant, Fangraphs, couple DK tabs, spreadsheet. MLB grind. We about ready. What up, Rob? What up, Andy? What up, Cujo? The takedown yesterday. Pitcher said okay. I went Holmes and Ray. That wasn't a bad. Well, Ray was doing good. Holmes did our hipping. Crazy. Let's go, Rob. All right, let's start. Going good. All right, so we just swept all of our data. Bullpen charts updated. Home run odds are updated. Anything else? No. Oh, let's open up the Kevin Ross. Ooh, we got some nastiness. Ooh, we got some nastiness. All right, well, let's start with this game, the Oriole game. It will rain all morning, all afternoon, and most of the evening, as fate would have it. Essentially, the only dry time models are showing is roughly when this game is scheduled to play. Even then, there's still some scattered showers around. I think there's a decent chance we get an early postponement here, but maybe they try to fit some semblance of a game in between rainstorms. I'm not too optimistic, but maybe if we don't get an early postponement, I'll lower the risk a bit. So, go orange. Hello. No, man. Weather risk. Auth report. Link is Reddit. Full size. What we do got. Wait, did it already get postponed? Oh no, I just have to tab open. It's a 6-10 game. I didn't type that one up. All right with that. Twins have a 4.3 run total. Orioles 4.9. Cade Povich taking on Simeon Woods Richardson. So if we weren't dealing with weather, both pitchers definitely attackable. And both offenses would be stackable. Povich has struggled with righties, so this would be a good spot for Byron Buxton to kind of keep it going. At 233 ISO since the beginning of last year against lefties, 900 plus OPS, a 155 WRC plus would be a great split for him. But we're gonna, you know, everything's weather permitted here. We're gonna be offense oriented here. Go get our section. Cade Povich, half. And on the great. Hopefully that game gets joinked pretty fast. You never know. Like our Vegas outs. Looks like we got nothing on. This is got nothing on that game. So I'm gonna give them both 15.5 just to get something in the projection model. That. All right, Red Sox in the Tigers. Ryan Bayo taking on Tyler Holton. 4K pitcher. Is it an opener? What's going on here? On tab. It is Ryder Montero. Long man. All right. Well. Let's put Montero. Put Montero in the sheet. Go lefty, Tyler Holton. Opener. Thorough projected. Long man. Would not qualify for a quality start. That's a righty. Red Sox have a 4.4 run total. Tigers 4.3. Bayo just a 14% K rate so far this season, 8% swing and strike rate. Very, very diminished returns on even his last year number. Go check out his stuff plus. It is well below 100, 92. So he's pitching poorly and he's getting poor results. So not what you want. Another spot where we're probably going to be interested in offenses. Check out the weather on this one. Showers around. Best guess at this point is they managed to play 9 straight innings here through rain showers, but also all right. So likely during what? And it was all yellow. 14% on the Bayo K rate. Montero, yeah, we'll give him 16%. Otero does have a decent ground ball rate to righties and can so far spoil righties, but it's only 21 innings of sample size. Last year wasn't that elite, but he's certainly struggling with lefties here. He has to skip a turn on Devers until the next time through, but when Devers, sees this stat line split in the second time through the order, could spell trouble. Gonna go Tigers, Red Sox. Not really gonna play either pitcher or want to play either pitcher. Mayo walking lefties at a high clip, about half and half, so we'll meet that in the middle, 10%. Arrow they're the same, so we'll have 10%. We'll get some outs here if we. I think they're not touching these games. Not a ton of games without. Go 15.5 again on both just to get projections. Judgy for a hit, of course. That's got to be like minus 300, if not more. Let's see. White Sox at the Reds. Our first game without. No, it's not. Feel confident they can play tonight. Go a delay. More likely of the late start variety. Maybe need. Bruh. It'll be one of those nights, huh? Orange. In those play. Link. Jesus. White Sox have dude. This early slate is just first. 5.7 run total for the Reds, 4.1 for the White Sox. Hey, I bet 31.6% carry rate for Andrew Abbott. He's facing a White Sox team that has a 21.4% aggregate K rate in their projected. A lot of no ISO bats and a lot of short sample size, maybe spiking some numbers. Only two players with WRC plus worth mentioning, Mydroth and Cuero, but again, Cuero based on low number bats here. So on the interest of this early slate, Abbott's the first clickable pitcher with the type of resemblance of strikeout ability. Pull up his recent stuff plus on the season. Not been like plate discipline. Let's go game log plate discipline. So he had this one game against Baltimore where he went nuts in the swing and strike rate, 19.4%. Every other game has been 9% or less out of 8s. So this anomaly is really holding up his season-long swing and strike rate. And it's kind of funny, in that game he only had a 33% first pitch strike. So he had to strike his way out and miss some bats to kind of survive. And he does have an issue with strikes it. So he's very wild, very unpredictable. But it is the White Sox. But on this 4-game slate, I guess we are going to get Jesus Luzardo and Sonny Gray. All right, let's start with the Reds. Go Abbott. And White Sox. But it looks like Andrew Abbott should be regressing mightily in terms of strikeouts. 8 strikeouts against Atlanta in innings. I guess this first pitch strike. Are they just not swinging? Like, holy. Let's check out his base. Something's not adding up here on the surface level, so. Jesus. Thank you. He only has one pitch with a whiff rate above 30%. This call strike's got to be like 20%, dude. 16, dude, these numbers are not adding up here. I feel like we got to project regression. Maybe it's not against the White Sox, but maybe it is. 5.5, and I think that's a proper game line. It 31% K rate does not align at all with what we're seeing the other metrics long term. You know what I mean? So like you take out this 19% anomaly, this 5-game sample, got an average like 7% swing and strike rate. He doesn't have a single pitch. He uses a lot. I mean, I guess the curveball technically is 30% whiff rate, but like, I guess the changeup is. It just, I don't know. I feel like we're looking at like a 24%. I'm gonna keep it up. The White Sox, we gotta play him. It's gonna rain. Reds, Abbott, White Sox. That's how we're gonna rank that one out. Let's go get a pitcher projection. For Cannon, 17%. Abbott. I'm gonna tax him a little bit, y'all. I mean, look, his career, 20%, 26%. I'm gonna give him 25%. I'm wrong. Whatever. Go 8.5 on the walk rate. Bit. Hey, I bet. And a half, and I'm gonna go 17. Shout out D. Dean the GOAT. One day we'll do a show. I'll just spend the whole show shouting them out. Follies. Cardinals and the Phillies. Good God, dude. This entire early slate is yikes. Like, I don't think I would recommend playing. It's just too much of a headache to even deal with. Other off report. These run total 4.2. Right, the two easily the two best pitchers on this 4-game slate are in a game orange tag. Like in Baltimore, it rains pretty much all day in Philly. The rain is lighter here, and maybe there's a little clearing around game time. But A, they could postpone it early, and B, even if they attempt to play, I'm not sure it's possible. At the very least, it would be miserable and wet. Miserable and wet. Sounds like my ex-wife. That's stupid. We're not gonna split the atom here. We're gonna go Luzardo, Sonny Gray. I'm gonna expect this early slate to get nerfed through the floor, dude. That's gonna be. All right. Get rid on Gray. %. Great. I mean, I'm gonna release the early slate projections here, guys, but so if you are psychotic enough to play this early slate, Pitcher projections at MLB Grind are up. Minnesota. Since he comes in at number 1, Baltimore 2, Boston, Philly. Yeah. God, these ghosts are so good. All right, let's move on to the main slate. Go Rays and Blue Jays. 3.9 run total for the Rays. Blue Jays sitting on a 4.3. We got Jose Barrios. Look at Shane Baz. Baz with a 24.5% K rate this season, 10% swing and strike rate, 10% barrel rate. Let's go look at stuff for Baz here. So, rinse repeat on Blue Jays not being a high strikeout team. It's not going to be a great matchup from there. But his stuff plus is incredible. 109. One thing I want to look at is his fastball on average this season is higher than last season. I think Jake was telling me. Looked better the last game, but there was a 3-game stretch where his fastball dropped from 97.4 to 96s. Well, I mean, that's significant, an average 1 mile an hour increase. But he found it again against Philly, and his slider velo came back as well. Matter of fact, he hit his highest slider velo season there. Oh, interesting. This projected Blue Jays lineup just a 17.7% aggregate K rate against righties since the beginning of last season. So while Shane Baz does project as a great real-life pitcher and DFS pitcher, we do push back a little bit here with the matchup. So let's give him a projection. A solid 24.5% K rate. Jose Barrios, we're going to give him a 20. Let's go 22.5. And then walk rate here, 8.5 for Baz. Jose Barrios. Walking lefties at a high clip. There's likely going to be a lot of lefties. Cash likes to load up code. Walk rate. As is at 8.5. Barrios at money. Almost implied for 8. Those numbers put in gives me 5.4 strikeouts, 1.2 walks. So sometimes facing a contact team is not a bad thing for pitchers to go long, but for DFS, of course, we're attacking strikeouts. I'm kind of wondering if 8,400 on Fanduel sneakily get us a quality start at the expense of a strikeout or two. Did mention that slider looking crazy. Only threw it 16% of the time. Actually got a negative grade on a slider, even though found its highest velo. This Blue Jays team, other than Nate Lukes and Vladdy, all negative grades against the slider. kind of half and half on everything else. Man. Gonna go Rays. We'll go Blue Jays Substack. I'm gonna get a little biased, dude. I'm gonna spin the wheel on his stuff plus and his strikeout ability. Just a really bad matchup, but it's not a 0% range of outcome for him to go 6 to 7 to strikeout per inning. You know what I mean? It's not the likeliest outcome, but it's not an impossibility. Or it's really a tournament click. He's been all over the room. Big deep G. Just because. Pirates and the Mets next up. Pirates have a 3 implied run total. New York with a 4.7. Kota Sengai taking on Mitch Keller. Keller 17.6% carry rate, 1.4 on the whip. Really struggling with lefties. Over a 30% line drive rate to lefties. Over a 1 home run per 9 aggregate. 1.25 in the last 3 seasons. 318 average allowed. Not striking lefties out. With 4.7 whip. So big opportunity for the top of the lineup if Lindor and Soto are 1 and 2 per usual. I think we gave Lindor, old Frankie, the cover here. A good spot for him to stay hot. We're gonna go Mets on the top of our interest chart, and then Pirates with just a 3 run total. Is O'Neal Cruz good? Just yesterday, he's got a back issue. He may not be good to go here, even if he is. This is a 22.3 aggregate strikeout rate since the beginning of last year against righties. Pretty putrid, anemic offense in terms of power. Much more so if they don't have O'Neal Cruz. But it does make Kota Senga pretty intriguing. You're not going to see a lot of teams against him with a 3 or less run total, because he's not like a shutdown ace. But he does have a ceiling here worth chasing. Around 90 pitches as his season cap. But that's not stopped him from going 6 or 7. Just when he does that, he's extremely efficient. Like 79 pitches in 7 innings against the Athletics. Extreme walk problem. 2 or more walks as far as the eye can see, and lately 3 of 5. And this Pirates team, especially the top 4 in the projected, do walk at a pretty decent clip. So on the surface, a 3 run total in Citi Field as a minus 250 favorite. Everything checks out for Senga. I don't have like extreme warm fuzzies because it does feel like, one, it seems like he's overperforming, right? 1.16 ERA versus elevated Sierra and expected ERA that's 3 times that. But he does have the ability to get strikeouts, and it is. I like it a lot more if O'Neal Cruz isn't in the lineup again. But I got a feeling that maybe the field will like Senga more than I do. But it's not to say that I don't appreciate his playability here. I don't think he's like the lock of the century based on what we've seen out of him. And then maybe some rain here. Increasingly steady light rain through the evening. I think they're just going to have to make up their minds to play this in suboptimal weather, because the options are either play it wet, especially the end of the game, or postpone it. I do think it's playable. Delay would likely signify a larger issue and potential postponement. We want to see start on time. So if it rains later in the game, Senga is going 7 and they just pull the plug, you might get one of those cheap complete game, maybe complete game shutouts depending on the scoreboard. That's what we're working with. And if it's me and my star player has a back injury and it's gonna be raining, making the elements a little bit more dangerous and unpredictable, I'm not putting him out there unless they DH him. So I don't know. But we'll go Mets and Senga for now. Pirates bullpen beatable. Get a projection going. Keller 17.6% K rate. Senga. Great. Keller. Senga. One. 8.5. And that's all I got to say about that. Mike Soroka pitching for the Nationals, taking on Spencer Schwellenbach. Skeletons in my closet. 3.5 run total for the Nats. 5.3 for the Braves. Soroka, 25.6% K rate so far this season at 10 innings of work. We're going to look a little bit more into last year. That was decent too, 24% K rate. The barrel rate was closer to 10% last year than the 0% this year. Who has he faced? Got a 0% barrel. Guardians in Toronto. Okay, 10 innings, 5-5 each game, around 80 pitches each game. Missed way more bats against Cleveland. Toronto makes sense, right? Toronto, we talked about, not a strikeout team. Not what they do. They're in Toronto. Yeah, game log, play. Still had an 8.4% swing and strike rate, and then a 13% swing and strike rate against the Cleveland. Below average and stuff plus. All right. So Braves have to be at the top of our interest chart for the single game. 5.3 run total. That'll do it. Nationals a 20.7% K rate, kind of right there in the middle of the pack, being held down by Kybert Ruiz, Luis Garcia, and a little bit of CJ Abrams, but everybody else can strike out 1-5 or better. Actually, let's go Spencer Schwellenbach. Then Schwellenbach, a 22.2% K rate so far this season, but a 13.6% swing and strike rate. So a lot of times, a 13.6% swing and strike rate is like attached to a high 20s, sometimes a 30% K rate. So this 22% might have room for improvement. Yeah. Dodgers, backs, Cardinals, Blue Jays, Phillies, and the Padres. He's had a really tough schedule for the most part. Now that the beatable teams like the Marlins, 10 strikeouts. Cincinnati, 6-6. So the blemishes in his results so far this season are in matchups you can forgive. 3 strikeouts against Toronto. They're scrappy. Strike out. So we could see at 8,200 a remember me game. You can get by a couple of these bats if we can get even more feel good. Actually, let's go Stealth Plus in. Yeah, the Stuff Plus is. So I gotta believe that we're gonna cash in on a high strikeout game really soon. Got 3 pitches with over 30% whiff rate, and this fastball is pushing 30% as well. So this is kind of what I was talking about with Andrew Abbott. Abbott doesn't have this with that high of a K rate and low swing and strike rate. Schwellenbach is kind of the inverse, where all the other numbers are telling me his K rate should be up. And I think we can blame strength of schedule where it's at. So I like Schwellenbach quite a bit. Now, even going into last season, problem with lefties. So far this year, that problem has been amplified with the homers. I do wonder if that was something that maybe Corbin Carroll, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman had to deal with. But it is worth noting, because this national lineups projects pretty lefty heavy. Even last year's strikeout rate to lefty down as well at 22%. So even if we push this year to last year, doesn't necessarily feel super great. But his ground ball rate has been elevated to lefty so far. Not walking him. You still got to keep him in the park. James Wood is the issue. 45 ISO, 885 OPS, but a 30% carry rate. Keep throwing the lefties. Throws a lot of fastballs. He also throws a lefties can be fastball splitters. And only CJ Abrams and James Wood and Nate Lowe to an extent have plus grades. Really just go for this. I don't really know if Fangraphs is grading that one, because sometimes the sinker, the splitter, split fastball, their stats. So I'm gonna go Schwellenbach. I'm gonna go Brady. I'm gonna leave it at that. If you wanted to cherry pick a couple of these Nats lefties, I'll get a pitcher projection. I feel like I spent way too much. 20. Let's go 23% on Soroka's K rate. 24. Let's do him last year. Schwellenbach. Give him what he's got. I think season's good. May not be here. Soroka, walk rate 10%. A lot of juice on the over. 17. I'm gonna go 18. Oh, wrong pitcher. Soroka. Give him 50. $7 be towards QS. That's our first pitcher that we're gonna donate some QS points. Senga's a maybe. Senga 1.5. Barrios. I don't know, man. What's up, Joe? What up, Lone Wolf? Hope y'all are doing all right. Quiet Tuesday, lazy Tuesday. That's just. It's 3.4 run total for the Marlins. Cubbies 5.4. For this game, whether rain east of Chicago. Should be fizzling out as it moves in, allowing them to play ball. Cool temps with winds in from. All right, 64 degrees, freezing in. I'm gonna go Cubs interest first and foremost. Ian Happ on the IL, so we're gonna get a lot more PCA leading off. Saw Suzuki's matchup yesterday, and I said it on the stream yesterday. Gonna get right here. He got right. But if you're like me and your single entries, if you wanted to stack Cubs, you'd have to donate your entire outfield, very expensive outfield, to 1-2-3 PCA Tucker Suzuki. And financially, with trying to fit in Molly and Michael King, I had to give up one. So between PCA Tucker and Suzuki was the odd man out for me. PCA's floor with his stolen base upside, his recent power, and Kyle Tucker the same thing. And funny enough, PCA was the worst play of those three. I think I only had like 2 fantasy points. That sucked, but I had enough of them. Large field, but that really wasn't the magic stack anyway. But we're gonna go right back to Cubs interest here. The Marlins bullpen beatable. Biozo beatable. 18% K rate. Just not missing bats, and he is letting lefties leave the park. Now he doesn't let righties leave the park, but it's not anything other than what appears to be luck. Last year in 68.2 innings of overall sample size, we saw similar, if not worse, batted ball data this year. Right, his ground ball rate has declined. He's gained a percentage in his fly ball rate. Maybe you could say the hard contact rate's off 4%, but come on. So for him to have 0 home runs allowed to righties is really more of a luck thing, and maybe something that Lone Depot Park is helping him out. So not going to let that deter me from getting behind Suzuki again, Nico Horner, Swanson, guys like that. 121 average allowed also feels a little bit fluky based on what we saw last year. And again, no real differences in the batted ball data. So his BABIP kind of stupid with the 4.79 xFIP. So not going to let that deter me. We're going Cubs stacking. Then Ben Brown against this Marlins team. Marlins kind of half and half in who strikes out, who doesn't, right? It's not like a bunch of 19s and 20s. It's a bunch of 30s and 24s and a bunch of 18s or less. So there's a lot of guys here that are harder to strike out, and then a solid lane of people that can strike out. And a lot of ISO that you don't really realize that lives in this Marlins lineup. So Ben Brown has allowed some power to lefties, and high average to lefties. Maybe that average is due for regression based on what we saw last year with kind of similar, if not worse, batted ball data. So, is Ben Brown playable? I think the end result being a 26% K rate, and letting Vegas kind of lead you with the low temps and a team that isn't that great. I think he is in the pool, but I still think there's some merit in a couple of these Marlins bats. Jesus Sanchez, Agustin Ramirez, Kyle Stowers, Matt Mervis to an extent. Those are all guys that have enough sneaky power. Now the Stowers, Mervis, those guys, they come with such a high K rate that, you know, I'm probably leaning Substack more than anything. But in bigger field tournaments, I think we could get to there because the Cubs bullpen is also not like super elite shutdown. So I'm gonna write Substack next to Marlins, but I get it. And then no Biozo. So let's go put a strikeout rate here. Let's go 10 on Biozo. Brown's K rate 12%. Walk rate, Ben Brown 9.5. What we got on here? 16.5 and 14. 15. Makes sense. What up, Earth to Air? You've been up. That's how we break that one down. Moving on. Rockies and the Rangers. Kyle Freeland taking on Jack Leiter. Rockies got a 3.5 run total. Rangers 5.3. Today, I believe, is the hottest day of the year here in Texas. Yesterday, they had the roof open. Blue Life. Let's see if they got it. Via this Twitter account, the roof is scheduled to be closed. So we're not going to get the benefit of 95-degree temperature. Oh, my poor electric bill. It's been a good run. It's been a good run. It's been a good winter. It's over now. Rangers could still be without Corey Seager. Like he's got a trip to the 10-day coming. Lineup yesterday. So, Rangers offense without Corey Seager is one that I'm kind of surprised has a 5.3 run total, but that's what Rockies will do. Kyle Freeland, 16.5% K rate, 10% swinging strike rate, a 165 whip. So far this season has kept righties at bay in terms of power, has not kept them at bay in terms of average. How do I put this to words? I don't trust this Rangers offense. So is there anything I could point to Freeland here and say no? First thing I'm gonna do is look at his road split. Play versus righties, 297 average, 392 slug, 1 homer. Lefties, 200 average. Do you have a crazy ground ball right? Give me something. Give me a 344 BABIP. That's got to come down. 384 xFIP. That's not the worst. That's not the worst. It's worse than his home xFIP. Hard contact way versus righties. 26%. All right, so that's down 6% from his overall average. I'm trying. 46% ground ball rate. It's actually lower than his home. I don't know, man. I don't trust this Rangers offense. Now, Wyatt Langford, don't get me wrong, I can go there. Also, they don't have Higgy, right? No. Pilar, I think Kevin Pilar. So the couple of lefty guys that I did like, lefty value guys, Kevin Pilar, Kyle Higashioka, I don't have them either. I had to call back up Jake Berger, who was fine in his AAA assignment. This team just is so anemic. So it's really is unstoppable force, movable object of suck. The 5.3 run total is just gonna look good. Poor starter, a below average starter, below average bullpen. I don't know how else I can convey. I don't feel great. Inversely, Jack Leiter, 18.2% K rate, 10% swinging strike rate, 8.7% barrel rate. Last year he had a 12% swinging strike rate. We kind of expect him to become a better strikeout pitcher, giving time. We talked about the Jackson Jobs, a lot of guys that come up with stuff. But the transition to the major league level takes some time. Look at his career minor league numbers. If you go back to let's say last year, let's see, 2024 in AAA, 77 innings, 110 strikeouts in the PCL. 2023, 85 innings, 114 strikeouts. 2022, 92, 109. So get what I'm saying. He's gonna be, or should be, starting a trajectory to find those strikeouts. Now, he's always been a walk issue guy at every level. there's gonna be a sneaky game where he shoves on the strikeouts. And is it the Rockies and their 26% aggregate K rate? Worst team in history. At WRC pluses, not one of these players since the beginning of last year against righties has an average WRC. I mean, this is disgusting. So there's absolutely a case for Jack Leiter here. And there's a couple of walk rates, but ew. And his stuff plus has been good. Location sucks though. That's just what. So, as weird as this might be, the matchup, roof closed, stuff plus. I'm gonna get you out of there. Put him at the top of my interest ranking, even over an offense pre-flop that has a 5.3 run total. I feel like I'm going against the process, but then this Rangers offense, man. Ugh. Don't love it. Wait for the line. I'm gonna go lighter. Get a picture projection. 16.5% K rate on Freeland. Lighter, dude. I'm gonna give Lighter. I'm gonna give him a 20. I guess he's got. Man, I want to give him. Might have to manually boost him. I don't think it's fair for me to force my boost on everyone. Great. Lighter, he's been walking righties at a high clip too. Not so much lefties. People that walk on the Rockies, Ryan McMahon, Michael Talia, lefty. So we might be able to diminish his walks. We'll give him 15.5. Good juice on the under. Basically, I'm an idiot. Everybody's off the Rangers. I haven't looked at ownership. I don't know, man. It'd be one thing if they should do well and don't. But Wyatt Langford's the only notable name here. WRC plus. Not like the Orioles, right? Or teams that look like they should be smashing, but they're given the results pre-flop, like the 5.3 run total. Struggle. I don't know. I guess they kind of grass and clawed. I don't know, man. Had 2 runs yesterday. 6 runs against the Tigers. 10 runs against the Tigers. Good pitcher. But that was a lot of Court Seager. He went 3 for 4, 3 ribbies, and homers. Doc Peterson got a homer. Evan Carter's good. I'll say that. I think him and Wyatt Langford are solid players. Gonna go. All right, Royals and the Astros, 3.6 run total for the Royals, 4.1 Astros. A unique situation here for Bubic. It's kind of like Cole Reagan's. He actually strikes out righties at a higher clip this season than lefties. He's facing an all-righty team, missing Yordan Alvarez. So elevated ground ball rate, keeping him on the ground. It's not as high this season as it was last year. Keeping him in the park. Not really wasting pitches. Now this projected Astros lineup is getting an inflated K rate based on Zach DeZenzo's 50% K rate. So this 23 is probably something more like 20, 21. With Pena, Altuve, Isak Paredes, and Yainer Diaz, all probably an aggregate of 15% K rate. We'll have to toy with that. But at 9,700 on DraftKings, we kind of haven't discussed one pitcher that should be like the guy so far. So I think he's in the conversation because if nothing else, even without maybe a strikeout per inning, still is likely to go long enough to maybe get you 6 or 7 if he's not getting those strikeouts. Saw that against the White Sox, 93 pitches, got him 7 innings. And then against Colorado, two of the worst teams in baseball, you kind of want to validate us with a good matchup. Don't really have that. I guess Houston is a comparable matchup to what we got today. And he only walked away with 6.5 fantasy points, 3 walks. Let's go look what happened there. %, swinging strike rate, 65% first. Five. It was actually his worst xFIP of the season. And ever since the Cleveland game, his stuff plus is bad. Location's great. Anyway, let that simmer. Inversely, Framber Valdez, similar in a lot of ways, but different in a lot of ways. Heavy ground ball guy. Lefty. And this season, he's also struck out righties at a higher clip, although neither number is super significant. The Royals, an 18.6% aggregate K rate against lefties. Actually, incorrect. Yeah, no, it's not 18.6% aggregate K rate since last year. But only 2 players with super green ISOs. That's Bobby Witt, that's Salvi. And the top 4 are your WRC plus major number lefties. And they're projected. I'm going to assume that Minute Maid has the roof shot. It's not Minute Maid. Some other. Not as hot in Houston as it is. Got a couple postponements. Yeah, this Waldo's injury sucked, bro. I'm gonna go pitchers here. I'm gonna put Bubic slightly above Framber just for a little bit more strikeout acumen, but I'm definitely pitcher first here. Then I would cherry pick the. Let's get a K rate, get a projection in. 4% for Bubic, Framber 2.5. Then we'll go edit play. We got a bunch of 17s up here, 17.5. Framber's essentially implied for 18, so that's what we're gonna give him. So also give US. I might give Bubic 2 towards. We'll also kind of wait. In implication, yeah, the Astros are minus 140. And then via Underdog, Cardinals, Phillies postponed. Wins or so if you guys will bear with me, gotta get that reflected as such spreadsheet. Ed Dallas owned our It's your projection. What was the other one? Yo, self-made 918. Appreciate the sub. Buddy Santana. Appreciate the sub. Cardinals and Rail. So maybe that means we can get those 2 good pitchers on a playable slate soon. Afternoon. And then there were 2. Holy. I wonder how many people play Carter Montero as a long man. That slate is. Would you move Luzardo ownership to Bayo? I mean, at worst, everyone's 25%. Actually, 2-pitcher site. Implied 45%. We start moving the needle from that. So I think Bayo. I don't know. Probably. I think Abbott becomes the highest owned pitcher if he wasn't already. Just because people are going to see the K rate. And it's the White Sox. But if we lose that game, god dang. I would expect Abbott. I would almost expect it to be linear with the projections. Right? Abbott 1. I don't know, man. Montero's listed. Oh, wait. Oh, they changed the opener? Oh, no. Oh, wait, yo, the White Sox have an opener. Fuck. FT. Yeah, that slate is a disaster, dude. Ever, bro. You know. All right. Go get more main slate. Where were we? Angels. 2-2 and another one 2 on the clock. Angels and the Padres. Jose Soriano taking on Dylan C. Soriano. His offense got a 3.2 run total. The Padres 4.5. First things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. Secondly, Dylan C is looking pretty juicy here. This entire Angels lineup, outside of Nolan Shanuel, strikes out aggregate 1-4 plus a 26.3% aggregate K rate, and is projected since the beginning of last year against righties. So Cease, his K rate's at 27% on the season. Last year 29%, but we can kind of split his or we kind of focus on his splits a little bit, as there's only two lefties in the projected Angels lineup, Yohan Moncada and Shanuel. Against righties, this year and last year, we've seen a spike in his K rate. Now this year, we've seen a spike in his average allowed, which does line up with a spike in his line drive rate. Maybe we can project regression on that if we really looked into it, but I'm not going to split the atom on the Angels. Angels do have some ISO here. They also have some middling of the pack WRC pluses and a lot of K. I'm going to go right back to the pitch against them well here in a pitcher-friendly, for the most part, Petco Park. It has seen righties hit homers at a decent clip, but I'm just going to give decent and believe. Soriano, a 19% K rate for him this season. 1.5 on the whip. A lot of that's being held up by an elevated walk rate and an elevated average to righties. So walking lefties and allowing a lot of average to lefties with a lot of average to righties. But that's coinciding with a extremely high ground ball rate. And ground balls are going to lead to more hits. But it also, singles become double plays and so on and so forth. So the Padres don't strike a ton of interest in me for that regard, but this is a better team against righties than lefties, and if they can paper cut nickel and dime Soriano's especially his elevated average to both sides of the plate, they dip into that Angels bullpen, which is just glorious. I do think we get to the Padres because of that, but that's the scenario we're aiming for there. It's not like we're playing Tatis and Machado to homer off of Soriano. We're kind of hoping that they slice and dice Soriano out of there early, and then you get into a juicy bullpen. Don't really have an interest in the aim. So Soriano 19%. And for Cease, against this projected, I'm gonna give him, I guess that's fair, 27's been pretty. Let's say I'll juice up his K rate a little bit. I'll give him 27. Walk rate here. Soriano. He's gonna be a more righty, right? So I'll just give him a 7. Let's see what our outs are. 17.5. 16. See, chance at US. I'm gonna give him 3 towards the Q. I've been going super high on the pitch count. Maybe I shouldn't imply him. Let me start. I'll give him 2 instead of 3. What kind of strength of schedule? Pittsburgh 4 innings, Tampa 4.1. These are at home. Chicago's tough. Yeah, Homie hasn't had had 2 6-inning games. Be quality start eligible, so yeah. Not for quality start. And we'll go from there. Move on, Yankees and the Mariners. The game they had last night. Shout out Oswaldo Cabrera. Horrific injury. I did see that DJ LeMahieu was traveling to Seattle before the injury even happened. So you might get DJ LeMahieu back tonight. I don't know what that means. Now that I'm looking on Twitter, almost certainly get DJ LeMahieu back tonight. Day IL with an ankle fracture. I'm gonna call the over on that one. That's why the Angels scored 9 last night against the Padres. So that unraveled in a very unconventional way. Like, it was the most #baseball moment ever. Not the most, but essentially they scored 6 in the 9th inning off the bullpen, and that's just one of those. Okay, you know what I mean? San Diego. Robert Suarez, not bad. They had good arms. Suarez getting just jacked like that was so not normal. Like, I think the win probability on the Padres, something astronomical. Fanduel was DJ batting 8th. I think that's close to what I put him at. That makes sense. But yeah, Wig, that was crazy. But it wasn't like they showed up for 9 innings. Robert Suarez just like collapsed, and that's so not normal, dude. It's not normal for a closer to do that. Back. Suarez leads the league in saves. It's really hard to explain how unlikely it was for the Angels to come out and do that to arguably the best closer in baseball. and spoil a lot of gamblers' nights and make some other gamblers' nights. Yeah, but Moncada, so I mentioned that yesterday. Moncada has low-key been cooking, and for a while I was getting him at 4.5 fantasy points on PrizePicks. That would be something to keep an eye on. But that's interesting, because Moncada, when he was on the White Sox coming up, a lot of steam behind him. So you might continue to be able to get him at a decent value. But I'm not running to pick on Dylan Cease. But Cease does have a power problem to lefty. So if I was gonna go grab somebody, I would probably be trying to attack his weaknesses. Walk rate and power to lefties. I thought it could tap into that. So if you're really trying to cherry pick a little contrarian person, C2 who's got some BVP. Max Fried taking out Brian. Woo! The Yankees 3.8 run total, Mariners 3.4. A 22.6% carry rate for Fried so far this season. Just immaculate stuff, particularly against righties. And he's likely going to see just one lefty in this Mariners lineup. That's JP Crawford, turning around Tavares and Cal Raleigh. So we can hyper focus on his 50+% ground ball rate to righties, 335 on the xFIP, 201 average, and the quarter home run per nine. With that said, big time ground ball pitcher here, gonna put the ball in play if he's not striking you out. And Oswaldo Cabrera's absence isn't nothing, especially if you're going 1-to-1 to DJ LeMahieu, who is a utility player. Play second, could play short, could play third. So I would be interested to see what that infield looks like. We could see some lesser defense. Volpe certainly has the ability to screw up, and then DJ just being out of the, and DJ could play first as well. I don't think that's gonna happen here. Volpe's certainly gonna, but it's gonna be the ball has a way of finding you instantly, and without Cabrera, who's been a solid defender, if they 1-to-1 to DJ and it's not like a Escara or Raza, whatever combo they come up with, this defense could lack some chemistry in the short term, and you might see some blunders because of that. So something to think about. Not really something I can quantify in numbers off the rip, but just something to keep in mind, and maybe something that we can put as a what to watch for if you are watching that game. With that said, Max Fried has been excellent. Brian Wu has been really, really good, especially his righty splits as well. Yankees do come out half and half, but they do lose a switchy to a righty. So let's go Max Fried just because he's been good. And then we go Brian Wu, and then both teams a sub-4 run total, looking to maybe stifle some of that offense. And then because the Yankees won pretty handily yesterday, we do get the opportunity to cut the game in half. If we get the strong outing out of Fried, we can hand the ball over to Luke Weaver and Fernando Cruz, who are the best that they have to offer, if not the two best that they have to offer. So hard to project offense here. Not 2.5% carry rate for Fried. Let's 5. Great. 7. But imagine both are like 17.5 on the 18.5 for, but from 8. We're going both 18. We got a little pitcher's duel up there in Seattle. We'll go Fried with 3. I'm gonna go. Yankees are slight favorites. We'll go from there. We got 2 more games to chop up. Take a pause for the cause. You guys stumble across this video on YouTube, wonder what the heck we're doing, man. We're just tightening up the spreadsheet, tightening up the projections as we embark on our baseball slate today. If you guys want access to the spreadsheet we've been referencing and upkeeping throughout the duration of this broadcast, you guys can do that behind the paywall. MLBgrind.com, quick premium memberships, week pass, month pass, season pass. That'll unlock this members portal. That'll get you a link to the spreadsheet, a link to the premium Discord, open line of communication to me. You can tag me, you can DM me, whatever, and then you can partake in the Discord. The Discord also features automated updates based on Twitter. So as we get these Underdog MLB lineups posted. That's coming straight to the Discord. Home run alerts, barrel alerts, stolen bases. I was gonna put strikeouts, but I didn't. Yeah, and even when we don't do streams, like Thursday, we probably won't do a stream. We're still upkeeping the spreadsheet, so it's a lot of automated for efficiency, but a lot of hands-on as well, to kind of compensate for stuff that may get lost in the sauce. On top of the index portal, which we've been looking at throughout this stream, get pitcher projections for the 2 main slates or 3 main slates depending on the day. We get the home run projections, the bomb detector, world famous last couple of years, and then we'll also have projections for Fanduel, DraftKings for offense, the pitcher projections, and that's it. Oh, and the stack rating, so it's pretty useful. So all of it is just a way to make your process more efficient, faster, and just your ability to do the research faster. That's all it is. I'm not selling picks. I'm not selling play this guy, play that guy. We're just selling convenient information and ability to break down upcoming baseball easy as possible, as fast as possible, using metrics and information that I find the most valuable and useful. D-backs and the Giants. Spot taking on Robbie Ray, former D-back. Got 3.9 run total for the D-backs, 3.8 for the Giants. A little sneaky game yesterday I thought was fun, especially for the D-back side. We got a couple double dongs early into the night slate, being Corbin Carroll and I think Austin Wells. Spot with a 1.2 whip, 5.54 expected ERA, 21% K rate, facing a Giants team in a pitcher's park that kind of half and half, but give you an aggregate almost 21% K rate against righties since the beginning of last year. Certainly clickable, and you might get his weaknesses kind of bailed out some spots, right? The elevated power allowed to lefties for the last 3 years. Kind of hard for lefties to take you in this park for the most part, but it's not impossible. And then inversely, righties haven't been torturing him with power as much this season, but he's surrendered some strikeout rate and conceded some average allowed. So the Giants are interesting in that regard. More interesting, Robbie Ray, 25% K rate so far this season, 33% last year. He is walking righties and lefties at a pretty high clip, with the elevated home run per 9 over 1, and then a low average allowed to righties because this heavy fly ball guy with not a lot of hard contact allowed. So a lot of deep flyouts to make you open your eyes, but resulting in outs. Could stifle this D-backs lineup, but I really love this D-backs lineup against lefties. So the park is going to be the toughest obstacle here. This is likely the toughest park in baseball. But man, are these some fun names to click. And Jordan Lawler in exchange for Garrett Hampson. I think Garrett Hampson got DFA'd and Lawler got called up. Yeah. Took a minute to find that in my brain Rolodex. So we might get Jordan Lawler in the lineup tonight. And Lawler's been pretty doggone good at the minor league level. Again, everything park in mind. But this season in the minors, 336 average, 413 OBP, and a 992 OPS. In his career, he's a 300 hitter in the minors with a 900 OPS. I think he's a top 4 prospect right now. So you get a chance to get his bat for cheap. And if you want for fun to split his lefty splits, he hits lefties with a higher average and a decent slug, 992 OPS. He has 1 homer in 32 at bats, but he's just really solid player. I say all that because he comes in at bare bones min price on DraftKings and almost min price on Fanduel. So should he crack this lineup, I think that the points per dollar gonna look pretty good, depending on almost it doesn't matter where he's at in the lineup as a road team. So unless they platoon him out or something, which I don't think they will. I think Randall Grichuk is likely to get platooned out for like Alec Thomas. But yeah, Lawler looks pretty fun for min price. So if you see him in the lineup and you need some salary savings, especially if you're on that late slate, he looks really, really, really good. So this might be a guns a homer for the D-backs click, but I'm gonna put D-backs at the top of my interest ranking. And the D-backs generally hard to strike out anyway. So you might be able to get away from Robbie Ray's strikeout rate, which gets into his home run rate and his walk rate. Then it creates a big inning, because not only do the D-backs not strike out a lot, they hit for a decent average against lefties, and they walk at a pretty decent clip as well. A lot of 8s or greater. So, and a little bit of familiarity with their old boy Robbie. So let's go D-backs 1. I'm wondering if we put any interest here. Look at his recent stuff. Kawa transitioning to outfield. Kawa's got a little sneaky power to him too. D-backs lineup is so fun, guys. I know, like a couple days ago, I opened up Twitter. I think it was on Sunday. I was gone all day, maybe Saturday. Everyone was taking a dump on the Rockies. They just fired Bud Black, and people were like, "This team is just miserable." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, and the Rockies are like deflecting. And don't get me wrong, the Rockies ownership sucks, and they don't know what they're doing. But if they did know what they were doing, should they be doing anything differently? Look at this. The Dodgers, the Padres, the Giants, and the D-backs. And the D-backs got to be the best 2 games above 500 team I've ever seen. This division is absolutely insufferable. Like this, you just got no chance at all. So years back, we saw the Astros kind of openly tank, and that created their little dynasty. Now, you're not going to do that for the most part in Colorado. Pitchers don't want to go pitch there. Blah, 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 blah. But if the Rockies GM was just like, yo, there's no way to succeed in this division with the baseball rule. Like, you're not getting 5 playoff teams from a division, right? What's the point? Why would I spend millions of dollars to bring in free agents to try and be a 500 team? And just looking at how good this D-backs team has been this year, and you could just add Jordan Lawler over Garrett Hampson, it's just so disgusting. And that's the 4th team in the division. And the freaking, I just can't get my mind off of, man, the Rockies just, I can't blame them for sucking. Like, I don't know that it's on purpose, but if it is on purpose, it's smart. There's nothing, cause you don't have any shot in the near term. Go stack it up. Go save some money. You're still selling tickets. People are going there to drink. And stockpile some picks. Anyway. Let's put a picture projection here for 21%. Robbie Ray, 25. Walk rate. Like pants on. And a half for both. Oh, we were gonna look at Fott's recent audio work. Yeah. Yeah, plus giving me a little bit below average. Good location. Go. Not been great. Then Dude, he's had a schedule. I mean, that division. Dodgers, Phillies, his last 2 outings, and I guess just. All right, so let's go. Kind of pitch. Solid shot at 100. Solid shot at 6 innings, 6+ innings in 3 of his last 4, including a game against the Dodgers. About 0 earned. A lot of 6s. So I'm gonna say I can give him. I'm gonna give him 3 towards the Q. Then Robbie Ray. How do we? That was the innings. Chicago, Rockies, and the Rangers. I'm not gonna over respect that. But mostly efficient. 5-ball pitchers will do that. Those kind of 1-to-1 on the. All right, I'll give him 2.5 towards the QS. Not leave him out. And we'll get to the main event, the meat and potatoes tonight. Athletics taking on the Dodgers. Athletics a 3.9 run total. The Dodgers 5.4. Landon Knack taking on Jeffrey Springs. Springs an 18% K rate. He is just falling off a cliff since the season started. But he was telling me that he's had some not so good stuff in the past, so his downfall is celebrated. But his stuff plus 92 on the season, low 90s for the most part, and we've seen his swing and strike rate diminish mightily. 19% against Seattle on opening day, then 9, 10, 10, 10, 10. Hasn't really gone above 10 since then. So nothing to see here. Elevated whip, and he's really struggling to get righties out. Now this isn't Sacramento, but this is the Los Angeles Dodgers, and they have some lefty killers. Kike Hernandez probably in that lineup today. The Oscar is hurt, right? So like it could be worse, literally. But this is still a really, really good team against either side of the plate. But enough hitters here that I'm not really ever gonna play Jeffrey Springs in this. I'm gonna go Dodgers at the top of my interest ranking. Then Landon Knack throwing for the Dodgers. The Dodgers are not as good overall pitching this season because of injury as their offense has been. That's, you look at their first 20 games versus their second 20 games, you kind of see yeah, they got some problems. So they can give up runs. A lot of times they just trying to outscore you and play Warriors ball, right? From years back. So Landon Knack this season 146 on the whip. He has struggled to get lefties out at a decent clip. A 16% walk rate to lefties, 1.17 homer per 9 to lefties so far, 27% line drive rate. So I think we'll probably get the Lawrence Butler leading off version of this Athletics lineup. Maybe not the Jacob Wilson, but we'll see. Then we probably go lefty righty off of that with like Brent Rooker, Soderstrom, and so on and so forth. JJ. So I guess what I'm saying is I think the Athletics are clickable, but I don't like them nearly as much as the Dodgers. Don't really think I'm getting to Knack. So we'll go Athletics. And we'll punch in some 15% carried on Jeffrey. Knack. Walk rate on Jeffrey. We're working with on outs. We'll go 14.5. That was a pen game. full stack that game says. Yeah, it makes sense. I agree. Let's say there's 4 more attempts here, so I assume it would be like that elsewhere. Let me go fix this pricing. Kiki, Debbie. Yes. That's bad. Right, that fills out pitcher projections and our stackering. So that popped open subscribers to go. Out. All right, stack rating for the main slate gives us the Cubs 1, the Dodgers 2. Then we drop down to the Mets, Atlanta, Athletics, San Diego. It's kind of like mushed together. Pitcher projections. Beast at the top. And got 2, man. Ben Brown, Schwellenbach, Fried. Those surprises. I'm not here for lead. Maybe lead. I got a leader Cola, 5.5 Ks. Dude, I feel like that comes in hot. But I'm with it though. That open. Bond detector. How are we looking here? Got any crazy value here? No, actually, TJ Friedel. The game should play. Friedel is top 7 in the bomb detector. 18% probability. That's kind of wild. You can get him at plus 800. Is one of the bigger value discrepancies you'll see for a top 10 guy in the bomb detector. Might be worth a quarter unit, especially if he's leading off as we got him projected. Buzz, Jonathan Cannon. .131 homer per 9 to lefties, and you get Great American Ballpark and a 5-7 run. So I don't know if that line is closed, but these are fresh odds from the top of the stream. I'm gonna look for there. Other than that, nothing. We'll see. The projected lineup I pulled has Jacob Wilson 1, but I feel like this should be Lawrence Butler. I like totals. Oh, all right. Let's open up our production. You guys got anything you want to look at? Thought we'd have more lineups by now to go back and fix. Do not. I guess we do have some lineups. Oh yeah, we do. We do. All right. Get what we got. Got what we get. Red Sox confirmed lineup. Rand, Devers, Bregman, Campbell, Brayu, Nick Sogard, I wonder if that's a. Looks like a Sogard probably shouldn't see hold. Might just be a Trevor Story day off. Huh? Carpenter Glaber back in streak. Riley Green, Little League homer yesterday. Dylan. Josh Rojas, Taylor, Friedel is leading off. Santiago, and all. I kind of like that Friedel home run bet. We're just talking value. Spreadsheet really likes him. That's what the tools are for. Though their run total did drop 5.4. I guess the game total dropped half a. For your single entry or main slate, I probably want to grab Caesar. And I'm such a sucker for lighter here and pay up for some bats. So I probably go a little risk on lighter. Probably unnecessary risk. But definitely cease. How far back is lighter? Lighter's like 1 point back from every. He's a lot cheaper. A lot cheaper. 7K. When Ace is way too cheap. Now that I think about it. 8,300? It's kind of ridiculous. It's a bumpy last couple games. You believe in home road splits? Echo is pretty pitcher friendly. Been far more successful at home. The Sacramento Park, whatever. Yankee Stadium, he did great. PNC is the pitcher's park, so there's really no excuse. Probably go season lighter, and that'll give me 43.3. And then, like I said, Jordan Lawler is almost a free square. I mean, shortstop, pretty shallow. I like Lindor, sure. But if you went C, Slider, and Lawler, dude, you can do a lot. And then you could probably punt catcher too. Or at least get a value catcher. Augustine Ramirez always projects well. Maybe not as. You're getting catchers at below this average no matter what. Let's see. I think Augustine Ramirez. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that I want to pick on Ben Brown, but I think this is a really fun start to have plenty of salary. When stacking, do you pick the top pitchers first and then the players of the stack? If I'm running like random stacks, I'm gonna be honest, I'm just letting the machine do it. But no. Generally though, I'll have a tight pitcher pool and I'll set my exposures. And then I'll kind of go from there. But pitching is not that expensive tonight. I'd like Fried, yeah, you pay up for Fried, Bubich, whatever. But I don't think pitching should prevent you from getting lineups offensively that you want. There's a lot of good pitchers in the 8Ks. Valdez, Rellenbach against the Nats. I think he has a ceiling worth chasing. Like if he's interchangeable with Leiter and Cease as well. Ben Brown, you could offset. I mean, my God, 7,500 for a good shot at 20 plus. Ben Brown came in, and this is not salary intent. Ben Brown came in third in the projection. He's 7K. Like you really don't have to give up much to have bats that you like to know. Even if we did Brown overseas, I don't want to do Brown overseas. I feel like Cease could shove, but Leiter comes with a lot of risk, obviously. So if you want to do Brown over Leiter, basically what I'm getting at is that you don't have to pay 20K for pitching tonight. You can get away with 16 grand. And if Lawler's in the lineup, he's almost a free square at that position. So, but otherwise, if I'm running stacks, I'm just letting the machine do it. I'm setting like parameters. What was I doing? I was doing some update. Checking lots of pictures. Oh, we got Blue Jays lineup. We can green light. Bichette, Vladdy, Anthony Santander in the Lou. George Springer, Dalton Varsho. That's a little different. I can't type, so that's cool. Lineup came out a little different for the Blue Jays. Mets lineup out: Lindor, Soto, Alonso, Nimmo, Vientos, McNeil, Alvarez, Tyrone Taylor over Acuna. Interesting. Braves lineup is out. Little drop. Hugo, Riley, Ozuna. Wait, let's say Matt Olson's batting third. Matt Olson 3. Ozuna. Interesting. Drake, Baldwin. Harris. Have they done that this year? I feel like it's always been Ozuna third. It just breaks up the lefty, righty, left. Hockey's lineup came out. Boyle, Beck, and Goodman, Alia, Moniak. Literally as projected. The run total went down even more. Dude, oh, man, Leiter might have himself doesn't need to do a lot to do that though. All right. Guys, do you see this Pete Rose reinstated? Come on, bro. Man, rest in peace at this point. Rob Manfred removes Pete Rose and shoeless Joe Jackson from MLB's permanent ineligible. Rose and Jackson, baseball's two pariahs stained by gambling, now have a clear pathway for consideration for the Hall of Fame. That's great. You like cheap SP2s? Yeah, man. So for the most part, I don't get cute at pitching. I think we have a lot of underpriced pitching tonight. I don't feel like I'm getting cute, but it feels like I'm getting cute because the pricing is whatever. Yandy Diaz placed on the restricted. What's going on? But usually I'll pay up for pitching in the historically. Something's going on with Andy. The restricted list, usually not a good thing. Usually means you I don't want to say it, but usually it feels like domestic violence when someone's on the restricted list. But Yandy Diaz is not going to play baseball tonight. That takes out low K rate. Via the Rays PR, the Rays have placed Yandy Diaz on the restricted list. Be called Coco Mont. Put Coco Mont. I don't know if he's gonna be in the lineups. I don't know. Yeah, no, I don't like that, Max. They until he dies. And I don't feel like he was that harsh before he kicked the bucket either, man. He was a pretty good ambassador to the game. And they were using him. Maybe not them, but you would see him on like Fox and you know, broadcast channels covering MLB. If you're not gonna ban him from use, I don't know. Didn't expect him to die, but you just feel like he wouldn't have been reinstated today unless he was dead. And that sucks. That man lived a literal baseball life. And it's like now these sports are so crossbred with gambling. You can't watch a baseball game these days without like seeing odds and stuff via DraftKings. So that's a shame. It's one thing if he went like if he was full Jose Canseco, you know what I mean? He wasn't, man. He was vibing. I guess he started out pushing back, but turned around. All right, all we can do now is wait. So we're gonna get off the air. Good time. Tampa Bay right lineup did. Yeah. Eminem. No. Yeah, the walls. Travis. So that lineup does come out pretty strikeout prone. Fort Lane of. So Barrios might get through. To be honest. A lot of lefties. He is striking out lefties. Or for some. So we might have to open up our thoughts to Barrios. Anyway. I'm gonna get out of here. We're gonna get some lineups going off air. Appreciate y'all. Tomorrow, I think we're gonna go for 2:15 Eastern again, 15 Central. And I think Thursday's the are gonna. So tomorrow there's gonna be some games going. While we're live, what it is, and we'll cover what we can cover. Later tomorrow, I'll be here. Appreciate your time. If you don't mind hitting that thumbs up on your way out, I would appreciate it. Otherwise, twitter.com/Gundacker and behind the wall, MLBgrind.com. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.